Hey everyone, what's up? Today I'm taking on a challenge. As a music producer, I often find myself caught up in the idea that I need to have the latest and greatest new plugins to be able to make the best beats. Plugin manufacturers also like to push that idea so they can make a lot of money, but what if I told you that's not necessarily true? In this video I'm going to show that you don't need expensive third-party plugins to make a cool beat. I'm only gonna use stock sounds and stock plugins from FL Studio. No cheating. Now, you might be wondering why I'm doing this. Well, I just want to prove to you and to myself that with just a little bit of creativity, you can make something amazing with the tools you already have. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. I guarantee you'll be surprised at what you can achieve with just some stock sounds and plugins in FL Studio.
So I'm going to have to start with removing this limiter over here. I usually use the PSP and InfiniStrip, but rid of that. And let's use a Fruity limiter. A lot of people are hating on this plugin, but I don't think it's actually bad or something. I don't really get why they hate on it. And I'll also have to remove EXO. EXO is my sample manager, but since we're going native plugins only, I'll just use the browser on the left side. I feel like just starting out with some drums. Let's look at some of the normal packs that come with FL Studio.
A few moments later.
I like this cowbell. This sound is also kind of cool. Let's also add this 808 kick. Let's choose some faster tempo, so like 155 or something. Let's start making a little drum pattern.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so I started out with this little pattern over here. Let's add this head sound. And we can also use this head sound. Just get rid of a little bit of this mud over here and add a little sparkle. Okay, I found this cool clap sound that we can add as well. To give it some bounce. That sounds pretty cool. Also found a more roomy kick sound, and I'd also like to try to add that on top of the kick. We'll have to filter it out a bit, so we don't want the low end of the kick, but we just want mids. So now that we have this sound, let's hear how it sounds with everything together. Okay, so that's still a little muddy. Let's bring that down. Let's clean it up a little bit. And perhaps a little more airy as well. It doesn't really sound really wide right now, so add some effects to that. Maybe I can use the stereo enhancer. So as you can hear, this starts to sound more interesting. Let's make it a little more subtle. Okay, and now let's add a head sound. This is gonna come in a little later. Let's make it a little shorter. Okay, let's record that. I'm gonna apply a little bit of quantization. Fix these a little bit. Okay, so we got a nice basic drum pattern right now. Let's see if we can add some instruments to that. Let's open up Flex, which is a pretty nice rumpler. And let's find some cool sounds. Okay, so I have this piano sound here. Make it a little more interesting. And let's try to make a little melody. I think I made a little mistake. Let's try to fix it. Can remove the first note over here. It's not really adding a lot. Let's make it a little more subtle. Okay, let's get a drink. Before the piano comes in, I'd like a really heavy 808 or bass or something. Okay, so I added this 808. Flex. some changes to it. Little EQ. I also found this triangle sound. Let's see how that sounds. Pretty cool. I'm thinking about adding something that sounds pretty much the same as the piano, but with a different sound. Let's just duplicate this. So let's find another sound now. In Flex I found this Crush Peak Now preset, and I added a little bit something similar to the piano in the intro. Sounds like this. Increasing the attack a little bit. I just decided I'm gonna remove the piano. I don't like it anymore. I'm just gonna delete the entire channel. Perhaps going to just use this Crush Peak. I found it a more interesting sound. I made this little patch in Citrus. Sounds like this. I applied this little EQ curve so it sounds a little more gritty. Okay, I changed this bass a little bit. I added this guitar sound from Flex. I duplicated that and then added some rose beat over it in halftime, and that sounds like this. Let's also add this little fill in the 808. So I added another pattern to layer with the 808, and that's this Sakura pattern, so it sounds like this. A little filter on it so it doesn't muddy up the bass and the treble too much. I made this little patch in 3x oscillator and added a little something over here. Okay, let's add the crash sound now. I'm not super convinced about this sound, but with a little high pass and a little notch it sounds okay. And also reverse the crash. And let it come in as a little riser. The snare sounded a little thin to me. I now added this EQ here, and now it sounds like this. So I opened up Autogun and I found this Gloom preset. I made a little pattern. That sounds nice and dark. So in the chorus I'm using the same instrument, but I'm doing some chords then with some little accents on top. That sounds like this. I tuned it down an octave. And I made the 808s a little more interesting as well. Starting to rain like crazy outside. I hope you guys don't hear it. Let's also sidechain this Reese bass with the kick, so it goes out of the way of the kick. So for the hook I took this dystopian lead, changed a few of the settings, and then made this little melody here. In Flex I also found some strings, so I made a little melody with that. Now I arranged everything a little bit, but perhaps you can still add some effects here and there and some ear candy. There's an effect here. Let's add this effect as well. And let's also add this effect. Make it a lot quieter though, and let's also invert it so there's a little riser into it and a little high shelf. And perhaps add this riser to go into the hook. Or at least a part of it, just like this. So After some arranging and a very rough quick mix, this is the entire project. So these are only FL stock plugins and only stock sounds that come with the DAW.
Alright, let's have a listen to the end result. But before we do, please hit the like and subscribe button because it really helps out the channel. Let me know in the comments what you think about the end result.